All right, Brakati Yahweh, Brakati Yahushai, Brakati Yahweh, Brakati Yahushai, call Halayim, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakakodash. The honors to the apostles of Great Millstone for teaching and ruling well in the scriptures. Salutations to you, Akim, across the world, pushing this word in truth and in sincerity and with charity. All right, and what I have pulled up here is, you know, the Babylonian Empire, the American Empire, all right, is facing, all right, complete disrespect from the other nations, and this is biblical, man. Okay, the other nations are starting to stand up against the Babylonians. All right, they're starting to form their own way. Okay, they're starting to form their own governments, their own currency. Why? Because we're in the time of the end of America. America is Babylon the Great in the scriptures, man, and all the nations, all right, are turning against this place, as prophecy says. All right, and as the Lord already prophesied and orchestrated, man, this you can't do anything to get out of this destruction that's coming to America. This is why we go out to the highways and byways and teach our people who they are, so that they can, you know, earn their ticket onto a chariot out of this place, or earn their ticket out of this place, man. In general, spiritually, all right, because this place has entrapped our people spiritually, all right, for hundreds of years now. And now we're at the end of it. And now we see our enemies going down, and we see the other nations rising up against them, man. And that's all prophecy. So I'm going to play a little bit of this video, all right, just to set the tone, okay?
Wolf Blitzer yesterday that there was a plane waiting to take Maduro to Cuba, but the Russians talked him out of it. What exactly is the Russian role here?
Look, the Russians like nothing better than putting a thumb in our eye. They're using the Cubans as surrogates. They'd love to get effective control of a country in this hemisphere. It's not ideological. It's just good old-fashioned power politics. That's why we have the Monroe Doctrine, which we're dusting off in this administration. It's why the president indicated last night that the Cubans better think long and hard about what their role is. We're going to continue to...
What has the president said to Vladimir Putin on this subject?
We've made it clear to the Russians in a lot of conversations at a lot of different levels, some of which are going to continue today, why we think this behavior is unacceptable to us. Those conversations are going to go on, but we're not going to limit ourselves to conversations. We're taking steps. We're putting more pressure on the Maduro regime. The effect of the economic sanctions already imposed are drying up revenues to Maduro. He won't be able to pay the service members. He won't be able to put gas in their Jeeps. This is having a profound effect, and it's a cumulative effect over time.
Has the president specifically spoken to Vladimir Putin about Venezuela?
I don't want to get into the specifics of the president's conversations.
Isn't it important? I do want to ask, though, isn't it important, though? This is such a big issue for you. It's such a big issue for the administration. It's such a big issue for America and South America. If this is a priority, doesn't it matter whether or not the president has addressed it directly?
I think the president is addressing it directly all the time. You read his tweets, I'm quite sure. He talked in a tweet last night about a possible embargo to Cuba. We've made it very clear to the Russians. There's no misunderstanding in Moscow. That I am very clear.
I understand the president does intend to speak to Vladimir Putin today. Is that correct?
Look, I said before, I'm not going to get into the specifics to that. I think Secretary Pompeo will be addressing his counterpart. We've had a lot of conversations with the Russians, that's for sure.
I just, because I'm reading a transcript of...
And by them having a lot of conversations with the Russians, it's to no avail, because Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is put in the mind of the kings of the Medes and Magog, all right, to rise up against Babylon the Great in these last days. Okay? Let me get this. This is... see if I can pull this up. Let's see here. Judgment is come. Let's see if it comes up. Bear with me 1 second. Let's see if I can pull up a tab here. All right, because this is all prophecy. Because the nations are getting ready to come against Babylon the Great and Israel. Okay? So, This is a good scripture. All right, let me get it. Revelation 11. Let's see here. Revelation 11 and 18. It says, "And the nations were angry," and that's the position that the angries the other nations are in at this current moment. There's no coming to an agreement with America, as he just said. This is why they've had countless and countless numbers of conversations with Russia, and it is all to no avail. Why? Because Yahweh Bashem Yahushai controls the minds of kings, and he has the Russians in control. All right, and in he has them in opposition to Babylon the Great or America, man, and that's all prophecy, because the Russians are going to lead all these nations into war against America. Why? Because the other nations are tired of America, man. They're tired of Babylon the Great and their wicked rule and their draconian law. They're tired of these things, and it's prophecy. You see? Revelations 11 and 18, "And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead that they should be judged. And that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth." All right, and what nation do we know? All right, if from just prior knowledge, all right, and through the Spirit, what nation has destroyed the earth, man? Okay, let me get this, and it's all on YouTube. You can YouTube and Google these things, man. Okay, let's see here. Effects of war in Syria. This is just one example. Let's see if they have stuff on here. All right, and this is one example. All right. And this is what the American military in Babylon does to countries. All right, there is all types of videos of Aleppo before all this destruction, all these bombings by the U.S. And their allies. And this man just completely destroys the earth. Not to mention all the animals he destroys, all the wildlife he destroys, all the forests he destroys, and all right, and deforestation. All right, that's another part of his destroying the earth. All right, he destroys land. All right, let me get this. All right, and then before this man came over here to meet Gad and Reuben, excuse me, bear with me 1 second. Before this man came over here to declare his wickedness on these ships, they encountered Gad and Reuben, and this land, all right, this land was very plenteous, the land that we currently live in, America. Now it's a total trash dump, man. Okay? And there's so much CO2 in the earth that trees can't even resupply the amount of oxygen that we need, all right, in entirety to survive as a nation or even as a world, man. Because this man is destroying the earth and the other nations are mad. All right, destroying nations. You see? All right, let's see this. Type this scripture. Bear with me 1 second. All right, and the nations are tired of this shit, man. A wilderness. Okay, let's see here. Isaiah 14. Isaiah 14 and 17. Oh, that's perfect. All right, and we're entering the time of the fall of America. And how do we know that? Because other nations are coming against America. All right, this never happened before. These other nations doing whatever they want to do. The Lord said in Joel that the weak shall say that I am strong in the last days, and that's what's happening. And America is getting ticked off, and they can't do anything about it because it is prophecy of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Isaiah 14 and 11, thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vials, the worm is spread under thee, and worms cover thee. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? And they've came to the fact that you've weakened them. Now they're angry. Now they wanna strengthen themselves. Let the weak say I am strong now. Now they're strengthening themselves back up. All right, the Lord said in Ezekiel 38, Lord willing, I'll get it, that he's going to put hooks into Gog and Magog's jaws, which are the Russians, and they're going to be transformed back into that Cold War era spirit. And that's what we're seeing. They're not taking shit from America again. All right? Why? Because America is on a decline and is on its way out, thus saith the Lord. Isaiah 14 and 12, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? All right, you go into all these other countries, they have puppet governments, and they set up and spread their wine. Okay, and this wine has destroyed these other nations. Okay, now you Americans are experiencing the grunt and of what you've done across the world, man. And it's gonna get worse because you Americans are feeling this. You're feeling it, man. You know, I work around a lot of these Edomites and heathen nations, and they're feeling it. You can look at them, man. And they're being drawn to Jacob because they sense that Jacob is not feeling it because we were never a part of this society. We've always been struggling, man. Okay. Now they're looking at us, you know, trying to seek to please the poor. It's no time for that, man. You have to drink of that cup, and you're starting to take your sips. And next, the Lord is gonna make you down the whole thing, man. All right, so you're gonna have to drink of that cup of destruction, chaos, violence, slavery. It's all coming to you, biblical Edomites here in Babylon the Great. All right, and wherever you are across the world, any Edomite and all the heathens, man. This is what's happening, man. All right, but specifically you Edomites here in Babylon the Great, you're starting to feel the blunt. You're starting to feel the squeeze, the crunch, because America is getting squeezed by the world because the Lord's putting the spirit on these other nations to take this place out, man. Eventually, all right. That's why you see thermonuclear destructive missiles. That's why you see rumors of war. You see Isaiah 14 and 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? All right, we just read in Revelations 11 that the nations were angry. All right, and thy wrath has come. The wrath upon America has come. We're in that time. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. That's why you have all these different types of space programs. You have the NASA satellite programs. All right, you have all these things happening which fit biblical prophecy. All right, tells you in Obadiah that once he makes his his nest in the stars, that the Lord's going to bring him down. Those space stations trying to go to the moon. All right, leaving space junk and debris in space. All right, this is all a part of how this man is ruining the earth, man, and it's going to go into it. Verse 16, they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? This is how the other nations are looking at you Edomites, man. You see? This is how the other nations are looking at you Edomites. And it's beautiful because we know that it's prophecy of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right? Verse 17, that made the world as a wilderness. Let's go into that word. Tools. All right, we got it right here. Let's go into it. H4057.
Strong's H 4057. Midbar. Midbar.
Yep, and this is what you've made the earth: a wilderness, uninhabited land, wilderness, large tracts of wilderness around cities. All right, a desert. You see, this is what the so self-proclaimed white man has made the world, man. Okay, let's get this. All right, let's see what comes up here. And this is him ruining the earth, man. Unacceptable, man. Under the white man's rule, wherever he is in the world, this is tolerable to him. This is not a big deal to him, having all this plastic in the sea, man. And this is just in the Caribbean Sea. Let's go to the Great Pacific Sea, okay? Garbage patch. All right, this is a real thing, okay? All the plastic that we use, all this garbage and all these things that he says disposable, these things aren't, because they end up in the ocean, they end up in the animals, and this is just a part of him making the world a wilderness, making the earth a desert, and basically just destroying the Most High's footstool, man. You see? Skip through here a little bit. And you could just see, all right, I'm going to pause the music. You could just see there are garbage patches. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch is the biggest. Look at this. The size it's the size of Eastern Australia, man. All garbage and pollution and things that affect the environment and things that turn this beautiful earth, the footstool Aidan of Yahweh Bashem Yahshua, into a wilderness. And this is under this man's rulership, man. Okay, let me get that. Can't say any other nation is ruling. You understand? Let's see. Job 9. We all know this one. Who's ruling the world so that this can happen, Lord? Job 9 and 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So whoever's running the earth, and we know it to be the self-proclaimed white man, the biblical Edomite, look on the money all around the world. Look at the most known and most favorite language to speak in all lands is English. All right, the self-proclaimed white man is in rulership of the earth. And what did the Lord describe him as? The wicked. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? All right, so we know that the earth has been given into the hands of the wicked. All right, and therefore the wicked do these things. Make the earth a wilderness. Okay? Let's get this. Deforestation. I think that's how you say it. Deforestation. Deforestation. There we go. I said it right. Alright, let's see. Let's watch this video here.
Deforestation is the process of removing trees and forests from a landscape. This may be done for many reasons, including making way for other land uses such as agriculture.
Making the world a wilderness, making the world a desert, as the scripture says. This is what this man is doing. Nobody told him to chop down all these trees, man. That's why in the scriptures it says when this man is taken out of power that the trees are going to rejoice. They're going to say that no feller has came up came upon us, roughly paraphrasing. A feller is a man that chops down trees. And this Edomite, they are the masters of chopping down trees and the masters of deforestation. All right? Making the world a wilderness. That's why the earth is in this condition. That's why the earth and different spirits are being orchestrated to come against the so-called white man here in America, Babylon the Great, and wherever he is on the planet, man. Whether they come against each other to destroy each other, all right, which is the whole goal of the Most High, because it says if Satan is against Satan, then the house shall not stand. That's how we know this is the end of the biblical Edomite, and this is the end of the rule of the Gentiles. All right, you go across the whole entire U.S. and the infrastructure is destroyed, just like Rome. That's how you know this is Rome all over again. And obviously, Esau didn't learn that ruling like this would never prosper. It tells you that in Job, the 20th chapter. The triumphing of the wicked is short. Okay, now let's play a little bit more of this.
Culture, and also to harvest for wood resources. Although it might not be something you see or hear about every day, deforestation is a problem that is happening all over the world and has been for many years. You might be wondering, how does this affect me? Why should I care? Well, think about the desk that you're sitting at, and the pencil and paper you're writing with, along with the majority of the furniture you use at home. What do they all have in common? They're all made from trees. We use trees to make a lot of different products that we use every single day, which means we have to cut down a lot of trees to make them. So now you may be thinking, well, why should I care? There are lots of trees and forests on Earth. It's true, there are a lot of trees on Earth. In fact, forest covers a quarter of all land surfaces on Earth. But the problem is the rate at which we harvest them. Currently, humans are cutting down forests at a rate of 36 football fields per minute.
And this is not humans, this is the self-proclaimed white man. We have no control over these things. The self-proclaimed white man is cutting down is cutting down trees at 36 football field sizes per minute. All right? We don't have any control of that. This is why it says that this man in Isaiah the 14th chapter, that this man maketh the earth a wilderness. Let's go back to it. Isaiah 14, bear with me 1 second. Isaiah 14 and 17. That made the world a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of the prisoners. All these people, all the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American here in Babylon the Great are prisoners of the biblical Edomite and the heathens, man. And he will not let us go, man. It tells you that in, what is it, Jeremiah 50 and 33? All right? He oppresses both the house of Israel and the house of Judah here in Babylon the Great, and will not let us go, roughly paraphrasing. Yes, this is the man, the biblical Edomite, and now everything's turning against you. Okay? Let's go back to this. Bear with me 1 second.
The Trump administration has also made the claim that
which are going to continue today, why we think this behavior is unacceptable to us. Those conversations are going to go on, but we're not going to limit ourselves to conversations. We're taking steps. We're putting more pressure on the Maduro regime. The effect of the economic sanctions already imposed are drying up revenues to Maduro. He won't be able to pay the service members. He won't be able to put gas in their Jeeps. This is having a profound effect, and it's a cumulative effect over time.
Has the president specifically spoken to Vladimir Putin about Venezuela?
I don't want to get into the specifics of the president's conversations.
Isn't it important? I do want to ask, though, isn't it important, though? This is such a big issue for you. It's such a big issue for the administration. It's such a big issue for America and South America. If this is a priority, doesn't it matter whether or not the president has addressed it directly?
I think the president's addressing it directly all the time. You read his tweets, I'm quite sure. He talked in a tweet last night about a possible embargo to Cuba. We've made it very clear to the Russians. There's no misunderstanding in Moscow. That I am very clear.
What does I understand the president does intend to speak to Vladimir Putin today. Is that correct?
Look, I said before, I'm not going to get into the specifics to that. I think Secretary Pompeo will be addressing his counterpart. We've had a lot of conversations with the Russians.
Okay, so America's having conflict with the Russians, man, and that's prophecy, because the Lord's going to use this nation to take Babylon the Great off of the earth. Okay, there's not going to be any talks with Russia. Russia's going to continue to do as Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahshai bids, and that is gather the smaller nations All right, and it's going to be a guard unto them, man. Let me see. Let me get this. Okay, so there's not going to be any kind of deal reached by Babylon the Great with the Russians, man, because the Lord's using them. Okay, and ultimately they're going to destroy this land, man. This is why these Russians will not come to no agreement with you. They'll, they might, do whatever they got to do and stay out of your way, but they're doing whatever they got to do, and it doesn't matter if they're getting in your way sometimes, man. You Americans, all right? By one coming down there to help Venezuela and being a defense unto these smaller nations. Those are things that they're going to continue to do with or without America's permission, which is infuriating Babylon the Great, which is going to lead to World War III. All right, because the Russians know that money is not going to be, or finances and trade, it's not going to work with you Babylonian Americans. Why is this? Because you're unreasonable and you're liars, and you have proven to be nothing but a problem on the earth and to other nations and their economies. It's all evident, okay? Isaiah 13 and 17, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them. Who is the them? Babylon the Great. Which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bowls also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. All right, and that's what's going to happen, man. Eventually, there's going to be war on this land, on this soil, in Russia, all over the world. And you American, you Babylonians, all right, whether it be Jake, heathens, Edomites, these soldiers from these other nations are not gonna spare anybody over here, man. Okay, it's gonna be all out war, World War III, before Yahweh Shai comes, man. All right, let me get this. Ezekiel 38, because the Lord is using Russia to stir up the pot on the planet, man. All right, America's not in charge of this reality. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is in charge of this reality, and he's using the Russians. And they're becoming a guard unto all the smaller nations. Turkey, all right, Iran, Venezuela, all right, and countless other nations. And it's gonna, in their list of nations that they're gonna cover is gonna grow. Because eventually, all right, just like you've seen North Korea have meetings with Russia, they're gonna see Russia's doing exactly what Yahweh Bashem Yahushai said they would do in these last times. Ezekiel 38 and 1, the word of the Lord that came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him. And say, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. This is why they're getting back into that Cold War era spirit. All right? Disregarding what America has to say, because they're doing their own thing, and this is all of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai this is him putting those hooks into the jaws of those Russians. And what else is going to happen? And I will bring thee forth, and all thine army, horses, horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them. All of them with shield and helmet. That's why he have Iran. All right. The Persians. Gomer and all his bands. The house of Torgama of the north quarters and all his bands. And many people with thee. Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself. This is why you're seeing Russia get into it with America. Because Russia is preparing themselves for war against Israel and Babylon the Great. Big Satan and little Satan, man. All orchestrated by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai in these last days. Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. This is why they supply all these countries with S-400s. This is why they're having talks with North Korea. This is why all these things are happening, man. You see? It says, After many days thou shalt be visited, in the latter years thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword, and is gathered out of many people. against the mountains of Israel, which have been always waste, but it is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. Thou shalt ascend and come like a storm, thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land, thou and all thy bands and many people with thee. This is going to be a very, very huge World War III coming, and it's going to touch the soil of America. Whether you American or you Babylonians want to agree or disagree, it does not matter. It's prophecy. All right, this is why we're seeing these talks between Russia and the U.S. We're seeing Russia become a guard unto Iran, North Korea, Venezuela, all these countries, man, and they're going to gather more under them. It says they're going to have a great company with them when they come against America, and we're seeing it. We're seeing it unfold. We're seeing the prophecies come to life, man. Okay? And what's going to eventually happen? They're going to be used to destroy Babylon the Great. Okay? Isaiah 13 and 19, and Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah, which speaks on this place being destroyed by thermonuclear destructive fire, man. All right? That's going to be the future of Babylon the Great, or America, what people like to call this place, man. This is why you're seeing all these things take place, because this place has did nothing but ruin the earth and spread wickedness, man. And the other nations are mad, and their anger has came. And now we're seeing it, man. And it's just going to get worse and worse, because eventually this place will never be inhabited again. Verse 20, it shall never be inhabited, never shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there. It's not going to be any more Arabs at the corner store selling our people fucking garbage and trash and poison. It's not going to be any more of these things, man. Why? Because this place is going to be laid waste by the Russians and whatever bands and armies are with them, man. And by the thermonuclear destructive missiles, and by our Lord Yahweh Shai. America is not going to last. This place is on its last leg, man. For all the things that it has done across the planet. Specifically oppressing the children of Israel. Okay? It says, it shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there. Neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. But wild beasts of the desert shall lie there. And their houses shall be of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there. And satyrs shall dance there. And the wild beasts of the island shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces. And her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. That's why we're seeing all these things take place. This war, the rumors of war, they might seem like rumors now, but this is how large conflicts start. All right. We have just seen Iran declare the American military as terrorists, man. These are all steps into the direction of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai's orchestration of World War III in the last days, with the losing end going to America, Babylon the Great. All right, so that was just something quick. Lord willing, it was edifying. Call Halalim Yahweh Bashem Yahushai Bashem Dash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone for teaching and ruling well in the scriptures. Citations to you, Akim, across the world, pushing his word in truth and in sincerity and with charity. Shalom and Abad Babal.